Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the Badass Buddha, Lori Monaco, coming to you from a very wet Southern Connecticut. And I am your teacher, speaker, coach, specializing in mindfulness-centered transformational coaching and workshops. I am your weight loss specialist and wellness coach and whatever, and soon to be author 2 weeks from today. So we'll talk about that in a little while. And good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Buenos días, mi gente. Aquí con la Margarita, your gladiator guru in wet Southern Connecticut. Here it is. I love it. I love this weather. This is my type of weather, the gloomy, rainy days. Southern Connecticut. I love it. Good morning. I am your sacred healer, your end-of-life doula, your spiritual and creative healing coach. I am your writer, author, artist, speaker, notary, wedding officiant. I am Margarita, the magically orgasmic, unapologetically courageous goddess in awe of herself. So buenos dias this Tuesday morning. Paul Richie, happy Taco Tuesday. Tiffany Bryan, beautiful. Tiffany, did you get all your mugs? Because I saw one that said Tiffany on it. So I don't know if it was yours or my daughter's. Janine, good morning. Here we are. Chanel, real deal.
Right, Chanel is in the house. Yes, it's rainy and it's also cool out, and so it's not so cold. So it's not too bad, when it gets real, like in the wintertime, when it gets real cold and rainy, it's like just gets deep down in, but nope, that's not the way it is today. And so good morning, everyone. I'm telling you, I have more trouble with Facebook. I don't know if Facebook.
Hello, that's what I'm trying to get on.
I don't know if Facebook changes I don't know, but they're always doing something new. So it's like when you go before it used to be so easy. We would go live and then we would hit like one button and it would just share. And you have to do all this extra step. And then if you minimize the video to share it, you can't get it to go back up. I mean, it's such a problem, but anyway, so good morning, everyone. And our topic today is how's it flowing? How's it going? We're basically going to take a moment to sort of recap the year. We're getting towards the end of the year, and this is the time that you really want to review your year, like what's going on with you? How's it been going? Is it going in the direction that you wanted it to? And if it is, great, and celebrate it. And what is it that you did that got it to go in that direction? And what do you want to do differently? Like one up yourself for the next year. And if it didn't go the way you wanted it to, what happened? Why did you fall short? What challenges did you have? Was it you? Was it situations? We always know that we hold ourselves accountable. So we always want to make sure that we do know that we play the role, but situations do happen. And we just want to know what it is how you handled that situation. So we're going to talk about our own stuff, and we're going to talk about the show and how it went for the year and what we're looking for in the future. And the reason we have the conversation now is because before you know it, it will be the end of the year. The moment the holidays kick in, and especially this year, because I think people are itching to get together. So all of a sudden, this is going to be a different holiday than it was last year. Is it going to be the same as it was in 2019? Maybe not. But next thing you know, you're going to be in a holiday mode and you're not going to be thinking at all. And then all of a sudden, Christmas ends and you're like, oh, the new year, and you're not prepped. This is the time to start thinking ahead and to prepare. Otherwise, what happens in the new year is that you get impulsive And so New Year's resolutions, and then, oh my God, I got to do this and I want to do this differently. And you impulsively jump in, and then you set yourself up for failure by mid-February. And it doesn't matter if it's a weight loss goal or if it's a financial goal or if it's a business goal, but that's the reality. So let's start the conversation now and get you to think. So what we want you to do is, as we tell you and share with you, we want you to, over the next few days, start answering these questions that we're going to go over today. Start thinking about, how was my year? Look back, look at date books and, or calendars, and just take a moment, look at your phone and look at the pictures in your phone. That's another way, is to just go back to the dates, go all the way back to January, and just look at the pictures and review your world in that year. And then, because you'll forget a lot, and then the picture will jog your memory. So, and I'm done talking for now. Got a lot in there before our intention, didn't I?
Well,
Good
yeah,
morning,
because it's
Sharon.
true.
Sharon, my girl, my new girl is on there.
But
Oh,
what happens is that we get so caught up. And although the badass Buddha and I, we share this love for Viva, we share love for many things. Sometimes our approach is very different.
yes.
I think that the only thing we do not have the power to change, the only thing we do not have the power to stop or take a different direction, go through the woods instead of going down the paved road, is death. Everything else is in our reach. Everything else is in our control. When you eliminate the fear of change or the fear of disappointing people, when you live your truth and you walk in your light, there's nothing and nobody that can prevent you from being your absolute best, because that is the gift you were born with. So when people say, I wanted to do this, but I have no choice, really, me, I don't, that's something hard for me to swallow when I hear people say that, because there's a choice in everything you do. Do you want wipes or do you want toilet paper? It goes down to that bare basics. We all have a choice.
When someone says they don't have a choice, they're choosing. That's a choice. They're choosing
not to choose.
To have the choice.
Not to choose. So they rather just follow the masses. And remember, mi gente, this beautiful early morning, when you follow the masses, the M is normally silent. So who are you really following? You have to follow what's innate within you. You have to follow that desire, that intuition that we are all born with. So when people say, well, I wanted to do this, but nobody else did, so I just didn't. No, then you know what? Dance to the beat of your own conga, even if you fall 5 times. But guess what happens? You fell 5 times. So 5 times you felt what you no longer want to feel going forward. That is a learned experience. That is a blessing in your life. So where your environment has a lot to play in your moods and your motivation, I think it either depletes it or enhances it, but you're still the main one that has to flow like that mermaid or that fish that comes up to the top to grab the bird that's sitting up on top of the water. We have to disrupt our own comfort zone in order to achieve what it is we truly want in our lives. So you cannot pray before you go to sleep and wake up and do the same shit and then wonder, why isn't God listening to me?
Yes.
You're not following your own desires. When you pray, you're praying with a passion. You're praying because you want change. You're praying because you want understanding, clarity, direction, right? So if you wake up with blinders on in the next morning and continue to do the same shit you did all of last week, hello, a lot of people expect us God believers expect that when we say, Father God, please help me, that he's going to come in and boom, kick your door in and says, I'm here. Let's do this. No, he's going to knock. Hello, I'm here. Hello, I'm here. Because he is not intrusive. You ask for him to show up. He shows up, but you fail to open the door. So I think that with anything, what we're going to talk about is with any change, with any betterment for our lives, it always and only starts with you. No excuses. I'm not the one to come to for.
That's right.
If you sit there saying, I didn't have a choice, I didn't know what to do, then that's when you sit down with yourself, quiet the noise in your mind, Listen to the sound of your heartbeat and get your shit together.
And she's on a roll today. And listen, we got to say some shout outs. Look at that. Liza Tuck, finally. Liza, I was just thinking about you last night. I was going to text you. Where the hell have you been?
She's
Happy to have
busy.
you on. We have Richardson Darius. He says, good morning,
Oh, that's my
beautiful
cousin.
women.
Hola,
Thank
primo.
you for coming on. So, yes, you know, we fail to do two things very often. And this is why it's really important to look back at how you've been doing for this past year. We fail to hear ourselves. And yes, we do fail to hear the higher power. And it reminds me of a joke, right? So don't anybody get mad that I'm saying a blonde joke, but this is just how I heard the joke. So a blonde girl's doing really bad financially and she's got so many bills, and she says, she prays to God the night before and she says, God, please let me win the lotto. I really need to win the lotto. I can't, you know, I can't go on like this anymore. I'm not doing well. I got to pay my bills, blah, blah, blah. Next day, she doesn't win the lotto, right? So that night she goes again praying to God. She's like, please, God, I don't know why you're not listening to me. I really need your help. I need to win the lotto. I need money. I can't live like this anymore. Next day comes, nothing, right? This goes on for like 2 more days. Finally, she's praying. She's like, God, I don't understand. I'm a good person. You know, you're not helping me. I don't understand why you won't do this for me, because I'm so good to other people. I'm so generous. And all of a sudden this voice comes down from above and it says, my dear, dear, beautiful, sweet child, you have to buy a ticket.
I think I heard that.
So listen, we say things and we want things, and we sometimes really ignore, the signs. We ignore ourselves. We are looking outward all the time. And it's time that we have to look inward with the help of, however you want to look at it, your God, your source power, your universal, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a collection, and we have to take that accountability piece. That is, we always have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And if we choose to go to the end of this year and then say, oh, this year was a terrible year, without figuring out what made it so bad, then that's on us. And listen, don't think like, this has been a challenging year for Gladiator Guru and I. Gladiator Guru had a lot of shifts this year. I didn't have the type of shifts that she did, yet I hit some really challenging times for myself. We talk about this all the time. So it's really good to get it out in the open. And if you can't work it out yourself, then talk to somebody, get a mentor, get a coach, have a close friend, but a friend that will tell you like it is. That when you say, geez, I don't know why, I just didn't do really well this year. The friend is going to say, I'm going to tell you why you didn't do well this year. You don't want them to go, oh, I don't know either. And then just agree with you. That's the beauty that I love. That's what I love desperately about Gladiator Guru. That's why she and I are so close. She tells me like it is. And she's taught me to be comfortable to do that. And I do that with her. And I know she's appreciative of it, because she tells me all the time. She tells me how grateful she is. And I'm grateful for her. So good morning, Arika Bolahala in the house. We got Carmen Nieves. We got Francia, Desiree, Carmen Grandiva. Good morning, everyone. Wonderful.
Yes, we missed you too, Desiree. And
no,
Prima, Carmen Grandiva. She's my cousin. Yes, and we cannot get mad when somebody doesn't show up for ourselves when we only showed up half-assed for ourselves.
Yes.
See, we put the pressure with the expectations and assumptions on other people, and that should stop this year. The world is different this year. You can feel it in the ear. You can see how people are just talking and walking and behaving. It's a different world. So what are you going to do to not only prepare yourself to be strong mentally, but so that you can weed out, like for my Puerto Rican people, when you're going to make rice, you put it in a strainer, you wet it, and then you pick out all the brown stuff and all that. That's what we got to do with our lives. We have to strain it. We have to put it in a colander and move it around and pick out the stones, the pebbles, the burnt ones, whatever it is that you do, because I'm not a cook. And you take it out, right? And then you rinse it out and you take all those
Pebbles.
impurities out of
What the
your
hell are
life.
you cooking? You're looking at pebbles?
So, I wrote something that says you cannot receive what you do not give. So if you're not
That's right.
enriching your lives with sabiduría, with the wisdom that you've acquired throughout your lifetime, because we all have, and then you just want to put it out there and get advice from everybody, then get mad when they don't agree with what you already had planted up here, then you're only going to get what you give. And if you give a half-assed life, you're going to receive a half-assed life, and it's nobody's fault but your own. So it's about accountability, what I talk about. So you cannot receive what you do not give. You cannot live what you do not learn. A peaceful and joyous life, you cannot receive truths when you continue to live a lie. So if you don't wake up, stand up, and value who you are and the gift that God has given you to be in today, to be of service to people. So what is your purpose? And why the hell did you show up this morning then? And so what makes you dynamic? What makes you fierce? What makes you you? Contemplate on that. Why are you different than the next person? Why do you want to be different? Why do you want to be the best version of yourself? There's always a reason. I wake up every day and I want to do better because it's my gratitude for another day that I woke up with breath in me. So it is my gratitude to my God every morning. That's the first thing I do. So, I mean, we have to just, life isn't this. It isn't this. Sometimes it's this, where this is life down here and fuck, my life is up here. Or you come back to the balance and then life is up here and you're like, it's pretty good. I want to keep this momentum. How do I do it? You do it because life is this, and the balance is what you got to find, because each and every one of us are unique. But kindness, gratitude, accountability, and living and walking in your truth should be your mantra. That should be what you get up and want to do every day. What am I going to add to my life today that will pour into the others?
Love it. My cousin's on. Hi, Anna. I was just thinking about you as well. I haven't seen you in a while, so we're glad you're here. And yeah, so let's take that. That was absolutely beautiful, Gladiator Guru. It is about, once you decide who you are and what your unique things are, this is why you have to look at your life and you have to review it and you have to say, okay, is this what I want? Am I in the place that I want to be? And if I'm not, then what do I need to do differently? And it starts by first acknowledging today and then looking at your past. Do you want to do the intention and the mantra, or are we on such a roll that you don't even want to?
No. Let's do that. I have the mantra.
Yes, I have the intention. So we're going to set the intention for today so the intention is, I will do me the best today. That's what you're going to set. All you're going to do is play today. You're going to play you, and you're going to play it the best way you can. So I am setting my intention to be the best and be me today. I don't even remember what the hell I just said. So just be you and be the best version of you today. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's what your intention is.
Yes. And I'm going to use one of my father's teachings as my mantra. I don't know if it's a mantra, pero nunca te engañes. He would always tell us that. Never lie to yourself. Never lie to yourself. I don't know if that's a mantra, badass, but that's what I wanted to say, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, we're not perfect.
Absolutely could be a mantra.
We're not perfect. We're going to fall. We're going to fail ourselves. And when we don't take accountability, we end up failing the people who always show up for us. Then we wonder why they're mad at us.
Yes.
So okay, let me give you an example of nunca te engañe. When you want to eat right, and that goes for all of us, right? And you shouldn't be eating certain things. I'm gonna share my guilty story. And you know it because you know it. You know how it makes you feel after you eat it, and how many hours it takes for your body to just forgive you for putting that poison into it, right? But I still ate that big piece of coconut custard pie. I was telling the badass this the other day. And you know what? Oh my God, it was such an arousal. And my palate was instantly turned on, and I felt that shudder you give, and it was delicious. And then look at the lie, because I knew I shouldn't have ate it. I followed up with a hot glass of green tea. Like that was going
To
to make
make
me feel
yourself feel
better.
better.
Like
To
that
make
was going to,
yes.
just say, okay, Margie, but you have and have. It's a lie. Because then the next day, the inflammation was so bad, I felt like I was a chipmunk. My cheeks just felt like it was a balloon with water in it. Because that, I'm going to be 53. So the inflammation is hitting in weird places. Like one day I'm going to wake up and one of my ass cheeks is going to be filled like a water
Or
balloon.
your
And the other
nose.
one's going to be deflated, right?
Or your nose. It'll be like you wake up and have a bulb.
That's what, so that's what my father always said, never lie to yourself. You know why? Because we beat ourselves up. But why? When life does that for us, why should we engage in that bully behavior?
Yes.
We have
Right.
to treat ourselves like the kings that we are. Kings, because you know what? We might be labeled queens, but we're kings of our castle.
That's right.
So, and we got to treat ourselves as royalty. We must love ourselves to the point where we're of service to others, but we're selfish in a way that we will not do anything that's going to take us out from what we're doing. So saying no, it's okay. That's treating yourself as the royalty that you are. So what are you drinking, Laura? Because we have a lot to talk about. We have events that are coming up.
Cafe Godiva.
Oh,
Caramel.
how does that taste?
It smells better than it tastes. It
Why does
smells
it do
very
that?
caramelly, and then you drink it and it's not very caramelly.
Yes.
How about you?
I am drinking. It's very smooth. Because mi gente, this is Tuesday, it's the end of the month. Let me talk to you about this month real quick. October, my mother's birthday was 10/10. My grandson, little Henny, his birthday, my mother would have turned 76. My grandson turned 15 on 10/10. He was born on my mommy's birthday. My brother-in-law, my ex-husband, whom I still love, 16, and my mother-in-law, may she rest in peace, on October 16th, right? Because I live my truth. And tomorrow, my beautiful granddaughter, Savannah Ray. So everybody wish Savannah Ray a happy birthday. She will be 1 tomorrow. Look, and my cousin Carmen, 10/10. Perfect number. Why do I say numbers like that, 10/10? Because my father was born 7/7/47. My daughter was born on the 7th. My granddaughter was born on the 7th. I'm born on the 27. My son's on the 27, and my granddaughter's on the 27. So, and then my grandson is born on my mom's, which is 10/10. So it's all beautiful. I love numbers. So yeah,
Savannah Ray got her
Savannah Ray, who's a
happy
riot,
birthday.
and you say stop, and she lifts her finger up, will be 1 tomorrow. So I'm like so happy that I'm here in Connecticut to share that. But anyway, we're gonna have an event. So today, and I meant to bring Badass, was on a phone call late last night. I was in Naugatuck before our author call, so it was like clash. But today I will announce my coffee company. So I am drinking Cricket Whispers Naturally Orgasmic Cafe. I don't have the sign. Hold on, I gotta get the sign.
Finally.
That's
Finally.
This is actually Badass Buddha's bag. It's 8 ounces. And then on the back, this is what my coffee's about. Invoking happy memories, one sip at a time. So here it is. Naturally Orgasmic Cafe Company by Cricket's Whisper, which is me. And if anybody who's followed me knows that I've had Cricket's Whisper since 2012. So now it's finally here. And they will be for sale at Ajusta Tu Corona and at an event that Badass Buddha and I will be having soon as well. So I really wanted Laura to have her bag this morning, but I said I've been procrastinating, and let me show you. And I said I'm gonna do this
cousin. I have to order
conversation.
Some coffee. My cousin says she has to order some coffee.
Yes, my brother.
Let me tell you something about my cousin. My cousin's mom's coffee. My aunt. Remember that, Anna? Like she made the percolator. She had the percolator coffee back in the day. That's what, you put the percolator on and everybody be still ending their, and she would percolate this coffee like forever. And it would, you would get the coffee out. It was like the thickest coffee.
Well, let me tell you, when you buy coffee, thank you, Primo. When you buy coffee in the store, you buy the bricks of coffee, which is what we've always done, is what I've always done. That coffee is so old that when you brew it, it doesn't do the little, it doesn't look like the foam of the waves splashing in. It's just blah, and then it's like if you brew too much, like I always do, you can't even see through it. So that's what we always thought coffee is. And then I tasted like freshly roasted, freshly grounded coffee, and it was a little see-through. And I was like, I'm not gonna like it. It's not strong enough. But when I saw them drip it and all the foam that came up and the aroma and then the taste, no after bitter taste. I didn't have to put salt in it. Then I said, let me figure it out. So when Viva started, and then I have other plans, and then I was taking care of my mom, and I said, it was a little intimidating. And this all started on my back porch. Start from where you're at right now. My son bought me a little roaster. I got the scale. I got everything I needed. Or what's that word? When you don't have what you need, but you substitute it.
Mm-hmm.
So to take the chaffing off the freshly roasted coffee, I didn't have that machine that sucks the chaffing out. So guess what this girl did? She got a blow dryer, and the chaffing came out. Because we must start where we're at. And that's what Viva Cafe con Leche wants to teach you. Is you start where you're at. It doesn't matter. If you don't have that $500 machine, start off with a $129 roaster like I did. And then you work yourself up. And you work yourself up and you make your labels. This label was ordered. This label I made at my house. As you can see, I water painted it. I splattered it.
Beautiful. It's like so pretty.
You know why? Because we are all creative. We are all creative.
But so look, this is a prime example, right? So Gladiator Guru had a challenging year, there's no doubt, but she kept going, even though there were moments where she was almost standing still, because we've had conversation on this, where she experienced things that she just never had felt before, and she didn't know what to do or how to process it, or she took a while to process it. But this is what you do, is you look back and you say, now in the midst of this, she had decided a long time ago. She had been telling me this, that she had wanted to do this for a while, but it finally came into play. And then could it have gone faster? Maybe. This new year coming up is going to be an amazing year. There's no doubt, because of what both of us have gone through this year for 2021. 2021 for both of us, we talk about this all the time, was like a transition year. It was a challenging year. A lot of crap came up for the both of us in our personal lives and in our business lives. And we had to work through it. We talked it over. We coached each other. We were honest with each other. And then we go from there and we're like, okay, well, what do we need to do differently for next year? And wait, I have to say goodbye to my baby. Come here. Have a good day. Let's go. Bye. So this is why it's important. Like, let me give you a statistic. So, and listen, this is also a good reason for you to come to Augusto Tu Corona, which is this Friday. You could still grab tickets, but you got to do this soon. And I will put the link up there.
And we will have merchandise.
We'll have merchandise. We'll be there. We'll be broadcasting live. You can buy the coffee. And it's this great empowerment thing. You'll be able to meet the both of us. If you've never met us before, you'll be able to meet my one daughter. So this is going to be an exciting time. And you're going to be around phenomenal women. Look, be magically orgasmic.
These are the coffee mugs. Say that. And then on the other side, it says be magically orgasmic. Those will be there too. But okay, so absolutely. And it's all about taking your power back. This year, my mom died this year. My uncle died like a month and maybe 2 weeks after my mom, my only living uncle on my father's side. So what happens? You can either drop to your knees, go in a clam position, a fetal position, and just whatever, or the same way you learn how to value your life, you value the life that you shared with those individuals. Is it hard? Absolutely. Did I go into a season of sadness? Absolutely. Why? Because I didn't cry when my dad died. I didn't cry when my husband died 4.5 years ago. And then mom died, and God's like, you got to let it out. So, bam, it all came at the same time. So instead of fighting it, I sat with it. I listened to it. I felt it. I understood it. And then it slowly started releasing because I needed that lesson in my life. I needed the lesson that, you know what, Margie, although you are the gladiator guru, you must release. And because I wouldn't. So I'm still releasing. And it's just a very touchy subject with all three of them. They all held space differently in my life. So even though it was my parents and my husband, they still, those doors, those compartments, they were individually compartmentalized in my heart. So the relationships were different. But what my mom's passing taught me is that the love was all the same. And it came from a bigger part of me. So I tried, working so hard to be up here, being raised as a survivor, you feel that crying and all the other stuff is pathetic. So it leveled out. And what does that help you do when you level that out? It helps you become the prosperous and abundance person you're supposed to be, living and creating your ideas into a reality. And that's what we have done this year. Correct?
Yes, because even we started Viva Moms After Dark this year. We did that one. We upped our game with the Viva show itself. We are, just to let you know, we are on, this is episode 85 for this year. So we're on 85. So, but when the year ends, we will finish with, and I should have done the counts, but because how many guests we've had on this year, 104. So December 30th is our 104th episode for the year, right? So we've done that. We've had an unbelievable amount of guests on the show this year. We have, and this was all in the midst of, some of the things that we were struggling with. We've, Gladiator Guru lost her mom, but at the same time, she was like creating, and she didn't stop. She reinvented herself, and we got pushed down, and we were successful, and then we got pushed down again, and we were successful. And the pushing down, I'm going to say on my part, was self-induced. Like there was nothing on my external that I can blame. So much more fun to blame other people and other things. It really is. It's just so much easier. It's like, oh, it was that person that made me do it, or I couldn't because of them, or that situation. But the reality for me, especially, Gladiator Guru had a lot more circumstances that played in. But for me, it was all me. So I had to really take a hardcore look at that and then say, dang, I'm not where I wanted to be. And even the show, like we had set goals for the beginning of the year, and we wanted X amount of viewers, we wanted X amount of subscribers. We hit, right? We got to our 100th subscriber. So we were able to personalize the YouTube channel to Viva Cafe con Leche. And then we sort of stagnated. I think we're at, I haven't looked last, but because I stopped looking, but I think we're at
I
like
think 108. I think we're still at
I thought it was a little higher than that, but regardless, we were hoping to have but like over 1,000 views, per episode. And we actually seem to stay almost exactly the same. What do we need to do differently? We haven't figured that piece out yet. We just figured that it would sort of come, and people would, the tribe out there, you'd share, people would see it and they would jump on. We're grateful to all of our tribe members because you've all been so loyal, and you come on so regularly. And for those that haven't been able to come on and have jumped on today, we're so happy to see you. But we don't look at those and say, oh, we failed. We just look at it and say, well, that kind of sucks. We thought we would love to have had more, but that's okay. We'll get there. That part doesn't define us. It's the other little pieces, hey, how are we doing, in the business financially? How are we doing personally? How are we doing spiritually? How are we doing with groundedness? I'm so proud of Gladiator Guru for getting this coffee going, because there was a space where there was she was really second guessing herself, and she was,
Well, it was my
looking at.
seasonal sadness. Yeah. I was gonna get it out there, but I just kept pushing it off. Like it wasn't time. It wasn't time. But yeah, but I thank you. I'm also proud. Um, because it wasn't my seasonal sadness that I realized that I am so blessed and I am so creative, which is a blessing to have been gifted that creativeness. And I am so in awe of myself for recognizing my insight that was a gift from God many years ago, and for the blessings to always have the energy to get up and fight. And even though I was like exhausted or very lethargic, but yes, those blessings isn't only because I made it, but I'm blessed for all of the teachings of the failed relationships, of the people that didn't deserve VIP seating in my life, and for those that I had to leave behind or just move forward. I am blessed to say that, you know what, your reaction is not my responsibility. My care for myself is crucial to my life. So, without any ill feelings or any negative emotions attached, but just knowing that if you stay on your path without detours, you will see who's for you and who is not. And that's what you do. You just travel the road that has been paved since birth for you, and you won't run into traffic. We're always in a fucking what's that traffic it's called, what is it when you're like, oh my god, don't get on the highway, it's they always say something regarding it.
Rubbernecking?
Yeah, we
Rubber
only get caught up in our lives in that type of traffic when we think we know better and we detour, or we want to take a shortcut, or we're like, okay, I'm gonna be late but then I'll make up for it. No, time waits for no one, so
I
there's no.
hate when you get off the exit thinking you're gonna, "Oh, I'm gonna get around it," and everybody else thought the same thing, and you hit more traffic.
Yeah, so it's like that's always your fault. And because I you know, if I gain weight, it's my fault. I don't care if my sister buys all kinds of pumpkin pie and coconut custard pie. I should know better than to not eat it, right? So that's what that's what it all boils down to. Stay in your damn lane. Know what your values are. Carry your moral compass everywhere you go, because sometimes we get caught up and passionate or emotional about a situation we're in and people we meet that we forget who the hell we are. So keep that moral compass in your back pocket at all times. Keep your faith and know that there's no fear where there's faith. And then you can just trudge on, and you're gonna get hit from behind. You're gonna sideswipe another car. That's life. It's gonna happen. It doesn't mean you give up on you, because you're all that you have from the beginning to the end. So take it away, badass.
But you can't know any of that unless you actually sit quietly and review yourself, like really check in with yourself. And, when we're talking about how's it flowing, how's it going, we have ebb and flow. We're very rarely do you meet somebody that it flows and it just does exactly the way, in the direction that it needs to go. Even as successful people, when they're flowing in a direction, they will meet things that get in the way, and they've just learned to flow around it. They just move around it and they go because they have that momentum. But when you're just starting out, you don't have that momentum. You get stuck. Oh my God, something got in my way. But you just have to review the process. You have to look back and say, okay, am I where I want to be today? And we were not just talking about, am I in the big house that I wanted? It's everything. It's mentally, emotionally, it's spiritually, it's financially, it's socially. Am I where I want to be? And if the answer is no, not exactly, then you have to review, and you have to look at, and then you have to honor yourself. I love, you always talk about the VIP seats, the VIP seats. Sometimes in personal development, you hear this a lot. They're like, oh, you don't want to sit on the sidelines of your life. You want to like play in the game. Yes. But let me tell you something. It gets tiring. Every so often, you got to sit your ass down in the seat and take a break, right? But you still want VIP seats when you take that break. I think of it this way, like you go and you do your thing and you play your life. You be in and you participate in that life. But then you take a moment and you sit down in those VIP seats and you replay the movie. It's just you ever sit down and you watch like the old family movies or, something, and or you're scrolling through your phone looking at the things that you did and you're like, oh, that was so nice. I forgot about that. That's fine. But you still need the VIP seats in yours when you sit down and you have to review. You take stock, you take those moments to look at it so that you know where you're going. You can't know where you're going until you know where you came from and where you are right now. You can't wake up, like you said it before, Gladiator Guru. You said you can't wake up, you sit there and pray all night, and you wake up in the morning and you expect things to be different, but you're behaving the same way as you were the day before. So you can't do that. That's why it's important for you to look how everything's going. And you look at it all, like 2021, we've talked about it so many times during our mornings. We've said it's been a weird year. There's been this fog over us. Both of us have been in this. The tribe has mentioned many people have been in that as well. But we also have to look at, okay, we were in that fog, but yet we still did stuff. We still, like, I went on that 3-week, cross country trek with my kids. I can't forget about that, but it's easy to, do you know how often I've sat and thought about the things that I didn't do right this year? And then had to stop myself and say, well, what did I do? And then I'm like, oh my God, I did this. We did this. We have Gladiator Guru and I are releasing a book November 9th, 2 weeks from today, which we expect the tribe to buy. And it's easy to buy. It's going to be a 99-cent digital download. That's the first part of the book. And then the actual physical book will be released in time for the holidays. But we did this. We put this together and we did this, and it's going to be a phenomenal book. We have an event that's going to be associated with the book coming up. We have 2 events, actually. We have a virtual event and we have an in-person event, but it's associated with the book, but it's not specifically. But the book is part of it, but it's also a little mini workshop for those that want to join in. We're going to open up to about 20 people. What else? You have your coffee coming out. You put all your lip balms together. You created, Gladiator Guru created all the merchandise this year for Viva Cafe con Leche. That is not my thing. I can't do that. You wouldn't have wanted to see what the hell I would have made with a t-shirt, really, And so these are the little pieces that we have to really look at and say, okay, we might not have hit our mark, but this is what we did do. So if we're capable of doing this in the midst of the funk that we had, could you freaking imagine what we'd be capable of doing without having that funk, without being in that funk? And then we have to sit there and look at, okay, what caused the funk? What was it? The collective energy for 2021 could have been, and if it was, what can we do to protect ourselves from that collective energy? Was it our own bullshit? Was it something else? And then say, okay, how is that going to be different for 2022?
It's going to be different because we got to look at our own bullshit. Excuse me. But when things don't go right, it is because of our bullshit. And again, this is where Badass Buddha and I speak differently on it. You know what? When I tell my story, sometimes it feels, people look at me like, how can I be telling it with the energy that I'm telling it? Because I can look back and say, oh, Maron, all of this happened to me. But I'm like, okay, what am I doing to make it be different? And sometimes I won't do shit. Sometimes I will allow myself to just sit and do nothing for the day and just bask in my seasonal sadness. Why? Because since the age of 6, up until my mother died, 6 years old to 52, 51. When did my mama die? Last year. No, this year.
This year.
Right? I did not know the sound of my cry. 6 years old, 52. I did not know the sound of my cry because I hadn't cried. Now I can tell you, oh, I cried. And people like Lillian Maldonado, who's known me for 35 years, will say, oh, how many tears fell down your cheek? Because that's what I considered crying. that my eyes welled up and maybe a tear snuck out. But I would always have a really bad sore throat because I would swallow and it felt like a tennis ball, or a golf ball, just. But so now, guess what I do? What I learned about Margarita de Margarita. Bitch, cry. It is so healing. But I always looked at it as being weak and pathetic, but that was my own thing. And so what do? And I learned how to be how I am today because I wouldn't allow anybody else to cry in front of me because it was weak and pathetic. To this day, my sisters are still learning how to cry in front of me. And when I cry, they're shocked. They're like, oh my God. Then they start crying because I'm crying because they never see me cry. So what do? I have to take responsibility that everything that has happened in my life happened to me, but there's always a way for me to maneuver around it. Just because somebody raped me doesn't mean I'm going to stay a victim all my motherfucking life.
No, because then they win.
But a lot of people stay stuck on stupid. Why I lost all this money? Why I didn't gain all this money? Why I didn't sell this product? What's wrong with me? And then, so that's what we're talking about. You don't give up. Don't give up on yourself because things have to happen. Because after that rape, I would speak at rape centers, prison for the women who murdered men in the Danbury Federal Prison because they were raped or abused in domestic violence shelters. That led me to be the voice to the women who wouldn't even dare whisper it out. And I would take my kids with me. And that's what you would. So that served the purpose. Was it God's intention? Not at all. But did he raise me up and teach me that for every time we fall, we bring a little wisdom up with us? And if that's how you choose to live your life, then guess what? Then that's how you make it better. Now, the badass was talking about a release of our book. Yes, we are so proud. We're so excited about it. Chanel Real Deal, who's on here today, is also part of that book. She's phenomenal, my cousin. So we're going to be sharing our chapters in the same book. That is very exciting. Badass put out the cover. We all chose covers that we liked, and the consensus won with it, but they were all beautiful. So either one that would have been chosen would have been good. So so that's the pride that we have been through shit this year. I became an end of life doula this year. Because
which I don't think that wasn't even in your register, right? Like you never thought about doing that until you went through with what you went through with your mom.
Well, I became a spiritual and creative healing life coach after Eric died because of the spirituality that I experienced, how God put a paintbrush in my hand. I can't draw to save my life. At the tender age of 45, I became an artist because I found a tarp in my back room and some acrylic paints that my daughter-in-law had left. So what did I do? I was like, oh, let me see. And I started creating abstract naked women on the first go. That was how I transferred my sorrow onto canvas, onto wood, onto shower curtains, whatever I had. I'm a raw artist. I use all types. If I didn't have a brush, I'll go outside and get leaves, or I'll get feathers from whatever earring I had.
You come visit her house, you better watch out. She'll paint you.
And so then what happens? And so that's when I became a spiritual and creative healing, because I would also do wheelchair art with my husband. I would lay the canvas down, I put paint on his wheels, and I'll have him drive around it. So his spiritual essence was captured forever on that canvas. So that's when that came. So when mom died, I had experienced two people, my husband and my mother, who passed away in my presence in the same room 4 years and 3 days apart, the same bedroom that I still sleep in today. So, and the peace that I felt knowing that it was time. So end of life doula is, for me, it's like, it's an assistant. It's being there spiritually with the families and the people who are dying so that they could make that journey and enter that passage into the next realm with peace. So I love it. So that's what I do. And I'm going to be writing about that later on. And then the badass Buddha with her travels and her decisions and her children, she has an older one. She has a younger one, her parents, she became a caretaker this year with her father. So, we all will go through bullshit. So I don't want to hear what you went through. Tell me how you got out of it, because that's your victory.
And what you learned.
What
you'll do differently.
You had to have, well, I look at it this way, how you got out of it is because you something clicked to where you're like, oh, this is how I got to do it. For me, because the badass Buddha and I could be in the same situation, we're going to get out of it differently because our spirits are different. Our sabiduría, the wisdom that we have and what we just learned is going to be different. So embrace who you are. When you live in your truth, you're going to embrace the reality of who you are. And you're not going to I don't like myself. I'm like, bitch, shut up. Half the time. Like, especially when my rage starts coming up. Or when I'm like too lethargic, I'm like, get up.
Yes. Especially on a day like this.
Be real with who you are. Value your you. Honor your you wherever you're at, whatever weight you're at. Whatever your living situations is, value you from there, because then there's no stopping you. If we keep saying, I'm going to wait till I lose 20 pounds before I wear this or before I go here. Excuse me. I'm going to wait until I have a better car or until I get a car or until I move into my own apartment, until I buy a house. Time waits for nobody. You're living now. Experience everything you possibly can now. Go out today. It's not cold. I'm going to go hug my tree in a little bit barefoot because I need to feel that groundedness
in the rain.
So that's what we have to do. We have to love and honor the life that God has breathed into you every single day and be the best you can possibly be. We're all going to mess up because we're human, and humans are tricky little fuckers, right? We're going to mess up. We're going to think we know more than we should. We're going to talk more than we should, like I'm doing right now. Or we're going to do shit thinking that, our prince is going to come and whisk us away. Bitch, you're not Cinderella. Create your own shoes and get out there and do the best you can with the life you have, and believe that every step you take is the step that you want to make. Go ahead.
And I'm done talking.
Do that again. I liked it.
and I'm done talking. Go. So November 6th, Saturday, November 6th, I'm putting it in here. We still have to finalize a few things, but this is tentatively.
Oh, Alicia was leaving. So yep. She said, have an awesome day. Thank you for signing on before work.
Yes. And we appreciate everybody who's done that. And in a way, we also expect it. So we're grateful, but we also expect you to be doing this. We need you to be listening to us.
And we, let me tell you, when there's like today, there's so much content. Tiffany Bryan, thank you. She said, thank you for creating Viva. You're truly a blessing to so many of us. Where'd it go? Oh, this year has been challenging, but I thank God for allowing our press to connect. Yes, because you know what? Without challenges, without obstacles, without sorrow, without sickness, without death, what's our story?
That's right.
There's no coincidence that we are where we're at or where we've been and the people we have met. There's no coincidence. It's all to enhance so that we can be of service to those around us. Everything that happens to us isn't for us, but we're that vessel. We're that messenger that then we're going to meet somebody somewhere down the line. You're like, why the hell did that happen to me? Then you're going to meet somebody down the line. You're going to be like, oh, Maron, it was for this person. So then you know what your purpose is. Sometimes our purpose is to be that lighthouse that's lonely out there on an island that nobody hardly, but it's a very important lighthouse for the ships going by. Sometimes there's going to be seasons in our life where that's all we are, is that lighthouse, that beam that brings people to safety. Like when you walk in the shore, the waves.
Hey! Oh, I have to interrupt you. Look who just popped on.
Who?
Look who's in the house. I cannot believe it. Ephraim is here. Oh my God, that's so funny. I was just thinking about Ephra because we were talking about I didn't mean to interrupt you, Gladiator Guru, but that was something that we just you had to stop for a moment to be like, here he is.
Yes, and we need to have you on before the end of the year, Ifra.
Yes.
Ifrain. Yeah, so that'd be awesome. So yeah, so that's be the lighthouse for others.
Yep.
And remember that, when our light doesn't shine, oh, I fucking love you, my lady. Me too. You're looking pretty hot and tempting, Eva. I'm glad you live far away from me. So yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
Oh my
stop
God.
engaging me.
Yes. Magically orgasmic coffee is going to
Because
turn into something else.
and then look at the picture he has on.
I
So
know. I'm telling you. So look, everyone, here we go. We got Saturday, the 6th, 4 to 6, your story, your power. It's tentative, but we will give you more details on that. And we're probably going to have about 20 people
and
to
it'll be
come
the
in.
three of us. Who are we? Who are the hosts for that evening?
It's Gladiator
Tentative.
Guru, Badass Buddha, and Chenille Real Deal. And I don't know if Chenille knows that, but she is.
Yeah, that's why it's tentative. Yeah, but that's why, Chanel, we said we have to speak with you.
Yes. All right. And then Thursday live on Facebook and YouTube is 6 to 8 p.m. is Meet the Authors of Her Badass Story, which again, November 9th is going to be the digital book release. And then we'll keep you, look at Chanel. Oh shit. Yeah. Okay. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
keep
that's
that time open.
happening. Boo boo, we gotta have. We just said before the show today, we have to invite you to like a Zoom link so that we could all be on the same, so see if that date works, because then we gotta meet with the lady of the place in Devon. But it's gonna be fantabulous.
Yes. And then this Friday, right, is, what is it, the 29th?
The
October
29th at
29th.
5:30 to 10 is
Yep.
Ajusta tu Corona.
Right. And you could still get tickets.
Yes,
So
you can. And please do. It's going to be phenomenal. It's a catered event, so you need to buy your tickets online at ajustatucorona.com/events. And it's going to be catered. There's going to be champagne. There's going to be vendors. There's going to be, shows, dancers, singers. There's going to be myself, moi, speaking. Francia is going to be speaking. Lillian. And the MC is the most beloved MC. And if anybody went to my book reading in May, it's Carmen Nieves. So this will be her third year emceeing in our 4 years of Ajusta tu Corona, only because last year in 2020, we had to do virtually, love. But so Carmen's emceeing for the night. We have photographers, videographer. It's going to be phenomenal.
yes.
And Viva Cafe con Leche will be a vendor. So we're going to have a table there selling our beautiful mugs. These white on white, then the ones with the color inside, and then the magic mugs that shows you once you turn the heat on. We're going to have t-shirts. Then on my table, we're going to have
Coffee. Yep.
We are going to
coffee.
have
you could be the first to purchase the magically orgasmic coffee from Cricket's Whisper.
And
So
we're going to have these. They're not labeled right now, but these are my organic linen sprays or body sprays because it's organic. Sage and mint to quita lo malo. Devil, get behind me type of deal with the sage. We're going to have lemongrass, which,
and it smells
lemongrass,
so good.
when you burn it organically in your house or spray
fabulous.
it kills germs and bacteria in the air. And that's something we need. You could also use the lemongrass. And I have eczema as a hand sanitizer because I make it with 70% alcohol in it and water and then the organic oil. So you can keep this in your car, touch, clean, whatever. So those are going to be for sale as well at the Viva Ajusta tu Corona. So I suggest that, we all invest in ourselves. This year we're taking it on the road, so Ajusta won't be in Connecticut every year as it's been for the past 4 years. So let's invest in ourselves and let's share what we have. There's going to be also activities that are phenomenal and masculine.
Let's just have a good time. Listen, we lost a year. And some people did still travel and do things, but so many of us didn't. And if we did travel, we kept it small and we didn't have a big celebration. And you know what? It's time. It's time for us to get together and have a celebration. That's right.
Come and give me a hug.
That's right.
Didn't we miss hugs?
I know I did.
Just hug heart to heart. And know that it's real. And that's all we need. Let's be sunflowers that on days like today, the sunflowers face each other and they draw energy from one another until the sun comes out and then they lift up back to the sun. Let's be that. Let's be that for one another. Let's be empowered women. You know what I'm so proud of? Let me tell you, not that I started this right here. You know what I'm proud of? The stickers that are coming that I'm going to put on that's going to say Latina owned. Latina owned. To me, that's more powerful than me It's exhausting when you got to pick your beans and then roast them and then bag them and then grind them and then rebag them. So let me tell you something. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of where you're at. You know, just be proud. Be proud in the skin you're in and know that you're healthy. So what if you're overweight? So what if you're underweight? So what if you have the perfect body? I don't like you, but so what if you have that perfect body? You know what is perfect when you have an ugly spirit. So let's mix it. Let's blend it like we do that café con leche. Let's mix that spirit and that soul and that mentality so that we're bringing out kindness, so that we're giving gratitude, and that we are the best we can be everywhere we stand, in every scenario and every situation. And you owe that to yourself.
Ending on a high note today. So for those of you that are still on, I want you to just do this before we sign off. I want you to just lift your arms up. So everybody just lift your arms up and just take a big stretch and just feel the power. Do you know that they've actually researched that when people put their arms up or when they put their arms back, it's a sign, it's a universal across the world sign of triumph, because this is what people do even when they run and they do something, they lift their arms up. And when you do it, even just for like 30 seconds, it can shift your energy. So we thank everybody for coming up. Look at Ephra said his are up. Yes, we know. Yes. We're so happy. We knew you would do it. And Anna, thank you for coming on. My cousin, you got to go.
Janelle.
And so everybody, thank you so much for coming on today. Gladiator Guru, any last things before we sign off?
Yes, also, because I do this every morning, I stretch, but I've researched the famous acupuncturist from the Josian time, Hale in. And when you raise your arms and you just do this, it awakens things and it gives you energy, like when you're tired. So try it because it does work. So thank you for reminding me of that. No, there's no other words other than today was phenomenal. We got to listen to Liza and Ephraim, who haven't been on. All of the other people who came on, thank you. And those who left, thank you. Sayonara. And let's see. Go to ajustatucorona.com/events. Tickets are still available. There's also something on our social media. If you invite 5 people, you get a free ticket or a percentage off. Look at that. And then stay tuned for her badass story because it's coming up.
Yes. Yep. We're going to be pushing that. So please notice our social media because we want you to be a part of this. We want you to purchase it. Of course, we want to become the international #1 bestseller on Amazon. So we have to sell in other countries too. So we want to be #1. So all of you know other people in other countries. We're going to put the links in there and we're going to tell you to have them buy, and it's a 99 cents. So you can't help but do that, right? So it's so simple and easy. So everyone, thank you so much.
We love you all, everybody, and we love you.
Yes. So remember, from the Badass Buddha, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, remember, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone.